Welcome to the Leading Owls podcast, brought to you by Rice University's Doerr Institute for New Leaders. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories and practical tips from successful student leaders, faculty, and staff, along with leadership experts and coaches that will help guide you in your own leadership journey. Today, we are sitting down with the 2024-2025 Lovett College president, Andrew. Andrew is a junior juggling majors in political science, managerial economics, and social policy analysis, not to mention a couple minors as well. He loves comedy and is the editor for the back page section of The Thresher, and he's also the co-president of Rice's escape room building team. Please welcome Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
What are you most excited about coming into your year as president?
I've been working the last 3 years at Lovett trying to kind of firefight different problems. And I really believe that this year as president, the two things I'm most excited for are taking all the things I've learned and from the people I've talked to, being able to really set the agenda for what I think Lovett College and its committees need to be tackling, as well as just going into the larger role. I feel like the president role is very campus-wide. Even just in my first 3 weeks, something that's been super energizing is that I've been able to communicate with these different campus leaders that come with different perspectives and are just all very, very passionate about making some change.
That's so exciting. What was your first leadership role that you ever took on in your life?
I feel like I've always kind of grown up and gravitated towards taking that leadership position. But I remember in sophomore year of high school, I was in an entrepreneurship class. We had a lemonade stand. It was kind of adorable. It was kind of unique because it was a class of a lot of juniors and seniors. And I was the sophomore that raised my hand and said, I want to be project manager. I want to dip my hand in all of these different teams. I think honestly at that point, it was very much a product of wanting to be involved as much as possible in the success of the operation.
That's so awesome. What was your first leadership role here at Rice?
That would be new student representative here at Lovett. For that one, I feel like as soon as I saw it, I was like, you know what? That's the way I get to meet people. It was me and one of my good friends together as new student representatives. We would kind of plan events throughout the year for new student bonding. I feel like it was a role where I definitely got to explore my creativity with the leadership position and think of different bonding events that weren't kind of annual traditions already, thinking of these new ideas.
I think that role is so special because it really gives new students a voice and it brings people in who have no idea what's going on. And then you have all these new ideas and you get to harness those right from the start.
And I will say, though, I think a lot of people coming in on the day one aren't necessarily ready to take on a new student representative role right off the bat, which is why I'm very excited that I feel like throughout my last 3 years of experience at Lovett, I feel like there have been just a lot of different opportunities to step up.
That's so awesome. What skill do you think is really crucial for a leader right now?
I speak a lot from experience, and the biggest thing for me is probably being able to be an ear to everybody. Sometimes I felt frustrated by leaders that I felt catered towards kind of one group or another. And I think a leader gains a lot of their credibility by being able to talk to everybody and gain everybody's respect and be able to push agenda items from all those different corners of the people that you're representing.
I think that's such a great answer. I haven't actually gotten that answer from anyone yet, but being an ear to everyone, I think you're right, it is one of the most important skills of any leader, that everyone feels like they're a part of it. What do you wish you had known when you were a freshman?
Maybe that everything's going to be okay. I was coming out of high school, very overachiever mindset. Right off the bat, I know there was a couple things that I tried for and I was rejected from. I know one of the clubs that has been a major part of my experience here at Rice is Rice Escape, a escape room building team. And the first time I actually applied, I was rejected. So I was a little bit heartbroken, but right after that, I kind of rebounded into applying for the back page, which is the satire section of our school newspaper. Ever since, that has just launched me into one of my greatest passions extracurricularly here at Rice. So overall, I think to go back, if I had to tell myself something, it would definitely be to not worry so much, because as long as I'm willing to bounce back, then I will find my place.
I think that's such great advice. Is there a particular leader at Rice, be it staff or another student, who has really inspired you?
Sure. I've already talked plenty about the president, so I'll talk about my co-president for Rice Escape, Isabella from Doerr College. She has inspired me.
So that's the end of the story. You did end up doing Rice Escape.
Yeah, It's honestly kind of a heartwarming story because I did get rejected the first time, and then the next round I reapplied, and then immediately after that I applied for kind of the executive board there and climbed my way up to the presidency. And throughout that experience, I feel like I transformed the club into what I would have wanted to see as a freshman. So we made it a no-cut club, and we very much are promoting accepting people that are enthusiastic as opposed to necessarily those that just have technical skills.
That is such a great story. I'm starting to tear up.
Yeah. It's definitely one of my proudest accomplishments here. Going off of all that, Isabella, who ended up being my co-president, has been very inspiring to me throughout that process because I feel like she is somebody that has always exhibited people first in her leadership. Absolutely. I think the reason that Rice Escape bounced back from being kind of a small club to a very high participation club that it is now is because we really emphasized getting to meet people and having socials. And Isabella was always the first person to ask you how your day was and really, really be invested, even if she didn't know you that well. I think I exhibited a lot of my leadership, taking it over to Lovett after her leadership and kind of making every single person that she talked to feel like a special part of the organization, I guess.
That's so lovely. What advice would you give freshmen that are coming in this fall?
Kind of in the same vein of what I would have told myself. The first opportunity might not necessarily be where you land. And in that line of thinking, kind of abide by the yes theory. I think the reason that I have achieved all of the experiences that I have now is because things kind of popped up and I just said, yes, why not? Let's try it. And I ended up absolutely falling in love with the experience. It's important to caveat that with not overburdening yourself, but freshman year, I feel is totally the time to be experimenting with different experiences, extracurriculars, classes. I would really encourage anybody coming into Rice to take advantage of that period to explore a little bit.
Once you start getting into your coursework later on, all that stuff kind of falls by the wayside. It's so important to experiment freshman year, and you're out of here so quick. 4 years goes by fast, and I know a lot of you Rice students are out in 3, so it's important to get in as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Final question. What cartoon character do you think is a great leader?
When I think of cartoons, I think of Scooby-Doo because that's what I watched when I was younger.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people think Fred is the leader, but in my opinion, I think the reason that that group stays together as a unit is the Scoobies of the group, the Shaggies, because those are the people that are bringing the fun into the day-to-day work of things and just kind of making people feel good about themselves and part of the group. So I would say if I would try to emulate anybody as a leader, I think it's good to, be organized and be able to take control of situations, but also more so than that, be able to make sure that everybody has that common vision of like, we're all here because we are passionate about this and enjoy each other's presence. I think people are really the foundation of any sort of team.
I love that answer. No one has given me the Scooby-Doo answer. And I think that it's definitely a different way to look at that, because I think when you're in leadership roles, the play and the fun can get kind of lost in all of the serious stuff or the conflict. And I think that it's so wonderful that you remember that and want to make sure that that stays an integral part.
Yeah, but I think a valuable piece of advice that I've learned is that really building up the team outside of doing the work and making sure you have strong connections there really carries on inside the work that you do together.
I think that's so great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing a little bit about your Rice leadership growth and, how you got to where you are today. Good luck in your presidency at Lovett, and I can't wait to see all the great things you're going to do this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for the Leading Owls podcast. We will be back next week with more leadership journeys and tips to share. New episodes release each Wednesday. For more information on the Doerr Institute for New Leaders and our free leader development programs for Rice students, please visit doerr.rice.edu.